Hi students, welcome back to online plus 2 chemistry classes. In the last class, we discussed about the introduction of D and F block elements. Today, we will study some of the general properties of the transition metals. Let's look on to the physical properties. All D block elements are usually metallic in nature. That is, they have high tensile strength, they are malleable, this means they can be deformed into other structures. They have high ductility and are good conductors of electricity. There are some exceptions where we can see that the mercury is a liquid and also zinc and cadmium are soft metals. We know the electronic configuration, general electronic configuration is N-1, D 1 to 10, Ns 1 to 2. Here the unpaired electrons in the d orbitals helps in the formation of a covalent bond. Along with the Ns electrons forms the metallic bond. So in zinc and cadmium we can see that they are D10 electrons. Zinc, cadmium, they have D10 electrons. Here it is 3D10 4s2 and it is 4D10 5s2. For them there is no unpaired d electrons, so they will only form metallic bond and no covalent bond will be formed. Only forms metallic. Also there is another property, that is they show high melting and boiling point. Transition metals show high melting and boiling point. Now we are going to study the second property, that is enthalpy of atomization. Enthalpy of atomization. It is represented in kilojoule per mole. What is enthalpy of atomization? The enthalpy change that accompanies the breaking of all the bonds from a substance or an element is called as enthalpy of atomization. That is, when we remove all the atoms from a molecule, there occurs an enthalpy change. That is enthalpy of atomization. It involves breaking of all the bonds. Breaking of all the bonds. Hence, enthalpy of atomization will always be positive value. It will be always a positive value. Enthalpy of atomization will be always a positive value. The enthalpy change that is accompanied by the breaking of all the bonds, hence it is always a positive value. Should always remember the unit is kilojoule per mole. Transition elements always show high enthalpy of atomization. Transition elements always have high enthalpy of atomization. High enthalpy of atomization. Why is this? Because we know that transition elements contain unpaired d orbitals. Unpaired electrons in d orbital. Hence, there will be high interaction, electronic interaction, high electronic interaction and strong bonding. High electronic or high interatomic interaction. High interatomic. Interaction. Hence, high bonding, high strength in bonding. Hence, it will be very difficult to remove the atoms from the transition elements. Hence, we will have high enthalpy of atomization. For transition elements in general, we will have high enthalpy of atomization because there are unpaired electrons in the d orbital. Hence, high interatomic interaction will be present. Hence, strong bonding will be there and high enthalpy of atomization. As a result, there will be high enthalpy of atomization. Also, in zinc, we can see that the enthalpy of atomization will be very low in the case of zinc, because in zinc we know that it is completely filled D10 configuration. Hence, there will not be any unpaired electrons. Hence, the interatomic interaction will be very low in the case of zinc, and hence it will have very low enthalpy of atomization. Next property that we are going to discuss is atomic radii. Generally, atomic radius is smaller than S block but greater than P block for D block elements. It will be smaller than the S block but greater than the P block. Smaller than S block and greater than P block. Greater than P block. We can see that there is an irregular trend in the atomic radius. First, let's discuss the 3D series. That is the first series of transition elements. In the series, we know that the elements are in the 3D series. First, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium. From scandium to chromium, that is scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, there occurs a decrease in the atomic radii. Decrease in radii, decrease. And the next elements are what? Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt and nickel. Here we can see that there is a atomic radii is constant for these four elements. Okay, it is constant. I mean similar, almost equal for this Mn, iron, cobalt and nickel. The last two elements are copper and zinc. There the atomic radii increases. Here from copper to zinc it increases. There are two main factors that depends upon the atomic radii. First is electronic repulsion, and the next one is effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge. These two reasons are responsible for this changes. In the case of scandium to chromium, we can see that effective nuclear charge is greater than electronic repulsion. So the radii decreases. In the case of manganese, iron, cobalt and nickel, the effective nuclear charge is approximately equal to that of the electronic repulsion. So the radii is a constant. In the case of copper and zinc, the radii increases because here the electronic repulsion is greater than effective nuclear charge. So from scandium to chromium, the atomic radii decrease as the effective nuclear charge is greater than the electronic repulsion. In the case of the middle elements, that is from manganese to nickel, the effective nuclear charge is approximately equal to the electronic repulsion, hence it is a constant. From copper to zinc, the radii began to increase. It is because electronic repulsion will be greater than the effective nuclear charge. We studied the 3D series order. Next we will study down the group. From 3D to 4D, the atomic radii increases. Atomic radii increases. But from 4D to 5D, the radii is almost same. The radii of 4D and 5D are almost the same. Why? It is due to a phenomenon called as lanthanoid contraction. Lanthanoid contraction. Due to that, the 4D series and 5D series are approximately equal in their atomic radii. Note the name lanthanoid contraction. We will study about the lanthanoid contractions in the F block in detail. Next property we are discussing is oxidation state. D block elements show variable oxidation state. What is meant by variable oxidation state? They can exhibit the oxidation state more than one. Variable oxidation states. Oxidation state. Transition elements exhibit variable oxidation state. We can just look at the 3D series first. 3D series: scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. A common oxidation state that is exhibited by all is +2, but scandium will not exhibit +2, but titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese and all other elements exhibit +2 oxidation state. Scandium exhibits only +3 oxidation state. Titanium can exhibit +3, +4. It can exhibit +2, +3 and +4. Because the what is the electronic configuration of titanium? Pd2, 4s2. It can at a maximum it can remove 4 electrons. Next is vanadium, it can exhibit +3, +4 and +5. Chromium +3, +4, +5 and +6. Next manganese. Manganese exhibit +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7. The maximum number of oxidation state is exhibited by manganese. +2 to +7. Iron exhibits +3 and +4. Also similarly cobalt also +3 and +4. Nickel also +3 and +4 oxidation state. Copper exhibits +1 oxidation state. Only copper will exhibit +1 oxidation state and zinc will only exhibit 1 oxidation state, that is +2. These are the oxidation state of transition metals in the first 3D series. Scandium can only exhibit +3 oxidation state. Then manganese is the element which can exhibit 5 oxidation state, +2, +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7. 6 oxidation states manganese exhibit. Then zinc only exhibits +2 oxidation state. That means for zinc it is 3D10, 4s2. In +2 oxidation state it will be completely filled and it will be the most stable. We studied that manganese exhibit the highest oxidation state, highest number of oxidation state and also the highest oxidation state, that is manganese can only exhibit +7 oxidation state. And also scandium and zinc. Scandium and zinc exhibit the lowest number of oxidation state, that is scandium only exhibit +3 oxidation state and zinc only exhibits +2 oxidation state, the lowest. That is, the oxidation state can vary from N-1 D to Ns electrons. Usually, the lowest oxidation oxidation state is formed when the elements combine with fluorides and oxides. F- and oxides. O2-, the highest oxidation states are formed. And in complexes like, look, NiCO4 and FeCO5. What is the oxidation state of nickel in NiCO4? it is nickel will exhibit zero oxidation state. And also iron in FeCO5 will also exhibit zero oxidation state. That is, in complexes like NiCO4 and FeCO5, the lowest oxidation states are formed. That's all for today. Before concluding, let's go to the summary. We studied the nature of D and F block elements, that is, they are metallic in nature, and the exceptions are mercury, which is liquid in nature, and zinc and cadmium are soft metals. Next, we discussed the melting and boiling point. That is, transition elements show high melting and boiling point. The exception is Mn and Tc. They show low melting and boiling points. Next is the irregular variation of atomic radii. This is shown in the 3D series, and the 4D and 5D series show similarity in the atomic radii. The reason is Lyapunov contraction. Next is the enthalpy of atomization. There is high enthalpy of atomization for transition elements. The reason we studied first. And next we discussed about oxidation state. That is, transition elements show variable oxidation states. Manganese with the highest and zinc and cadmium shows only one oxidation state. And the highest oxidation states are shown when complexes with oxides and fluorides, and the lowest is shown with complexes like NiCO4 and FeCO5, where carbon monoxide is the neutral ligand. Hope it's clear for you. Thank you and have a nice day.